section 1.3, guys, is about random sampling. So we know what variables are. We know what data is. We want to start collecting things. How do we go about collecting things randomly so it's a really good sample? On Monday, I mentioned, hey, what's your favorite baseball team? Just asking you guys wouldn't it be a very good sampling technique, all right? So 1.3 and 1.4 are going to be different ways that you can sample, all right? So let's look at the first definition. A random sampling is the process of using chance to select individuals from a population to be included in the sample, all right? So objective one, and the only objective, is how do you obtain a simple random sample, also known as SRS. I do not call it SRS, but I like to put it on there. That way, in case my math lab uses SRS, you know what it means, okay? So what is a simple random sample? Let's look at this definition. It says a sample of size little n from a population of size big N is obtained through simple randomly sample if every possible sample of size n has an equally likely chance of occurring. The sample is then called a simple random sample. There's a couple things I want to point out that are going to play a role until December, all right? Anytime you talk about sample size, it's always little n, okay? Anytime you talk about sample size, think n for number, okay? And if sample's smaller, it should be the smaller n. And then what do you notice over here? Population size is what? Big N, all right? So underlying population size, and that's big N, all right? That's almost the more important part of that definition than anything. From here on out, if you see little n, realize that's how many things you have in your sample. If you see big N, that's how many things you have in the population. And it's important because you're going to get a lot of formulas. I provide all the formulas for your test, okay? You don't have to memorize formulas. But you need to know what little n stands for because it will be in the formula. And if you're like, I don't know what n is, then formula's not going to help you, all right? How can I reword this so it makes sense? Basically, you're randomly selecting people or items, but everyone has the same chance of being selected. Did you guys ever have the elementary school teacher that did popsicle, your name on a popsicle on the bag? That was simple random sampling, right? Everybody's name was only on one popsicle stick, so everybody had a 1 out of 24 chance of getting chosen. She wasn't mean and put 2 of your names on there, and so she had a 2 out of 24 chance, right? No, everyone had the same amount, so that's why it's simple random sampling. There's 2 types of simple random sampling. Hopefully the definition, actually, I should say hopefully the term makes sense. A sample without replacement is exactly that. When you take a sample and you choose someone, they don't get replaced, okay, without replacement. A sample without replacement is when once an individual selected, he or she is removed from the population and cannot be chosen again. Again, if you had a nice teacher back then, she would draw your name for the popsicle stick and then just lay it on her desk and didn't put you back into the bag, right? Once you got chosen, you didn't get chosen again. That's without replacement. Sometimes we have those evil teachers that will do it with replacement, meaning once you're chosen, you might be chosen again. And so that means she drew your name, read it, you had to answer that question, but she put your name right back into that bag. So that was with replacement. Is that okay? Why do we care about this? We don't care about it necessarily right now, but we're going to need to care about it in chapter 5. In chapter 5, we start talking about odds and probability and the chances of things happening with or without replacement are definitely going to affect those odds, all right? So before we even go about doing a simple random sample, we have to have a list of everyone to know who we're choosing from. This is called your frame. This is called your frame, all right? So say you guys are my population. My class roster is the frame. I have all you on there, okay? So that will be, gosh, everyone's here again except for Sarah. That just blows my mind. Sorry, I'm excited about that. So that's my frame. So what I would do is to do a simple random sample. It could be as easy as drawing names from a hat, a popsicle from a bag, whatever it may be. But there's other ways we can do the sampling using like kind of more intense techniques. One is using a table of random numbers. Jake, can I borrow your book? Because I forgot to bring my book. Is that all right?
Okay.
I promise I won't beat it up. If I do, I'll get you a new one, okay? So on page 23, and I'll get it out. I meant to bring it up. Usually, guys, I pull it up on the screen, but if I'm recording this, pulling up on the screen is not going to really help us. And so, oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, where's the little tab? So let's see how we could use a table. Oh, you guys have it. Perfect. So what's going on here, guys? Look at the problem. It says the accounting firm of Sinise and Associates has grown. To make sure their clients are still satisfied with the services they're receiving, the company decides to send a survey out to a simple random sample of 5 of its 30 clients. Okay? So basically, they're doing a good job. They want to make sure, is everybody happy? But they don't want to send it to everyone, so they just want to randomly choose 5. How I would do it is probably just put my pencil on 5 random people and send them the survey. But there's also a way we can do it using a random number table, all right? So the first thing you have to do whenever you use a random number table or your calculator is that you have to give every client a number. So when you get the number 3, you know that's client bridal zone, okay? Or if you get the number 27, you know that's ultimate electric, all right? So with the class roster, I would probably just name you 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 24. Is that all right? So how does the random number table work? Guys, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is when I hesitate to be recording my lectures. It's not very practical. It really isn't. You're not going to be at a company and be like, wait, let me get out my random number table. You know, you're not going to be doing that, but it is something that we have to cover. So I will cover it with you. You'll have a homework problem over it. It won't be on the test, okay? It's one of those things where, like, it's not practical to me. There's other ways that we can get a random sample. Okay, so do you guys agree that we have 1 through 30? So whatever number we get, that's the client we're going to send the survey to. So if you flip the page to page 24, this is what I'm talking about. This is your random number table. And it's literally a bunch of random numbers, all right? So it looks like there's 10 columns, but there's not 10 columns. There's 50 columns. Every single number is its own column. The only reason why they chunk it by 5s is for us to get to columns quicker, right? If they had all these in a row squished together and I said get to column 37, you'd have to count over 37. But this way you can just jump to, okay, column 36 is 4, column 37 is 0. You guys see that? Okay, so every single number is a column. And then every single row is a row. So what you do, and it's funny when you read the problem on the book, you have to decide where to start. So they told us to start in column 4, row 13. If you read the problem on your homework, it's like, so-and-so just flips his pencil, and it, you know, like it's just really talk about random. So we're going to start at column 4. So do you guys agree that number 9 is column 4? Can you see that? Do I need to zoom in at all? Like slow-mo. Look at that go. Okay. So number 9 is column 4. And then if we go to row 13, we're going to slide all the way down column 4 to row 13 to the number 0. Do you guys see that? That 0 would be technically row 13, column 4. Why did they boldface 0, 1? However many numbers you look at depends on your frame. Does anybody remember how many total clients we were looking at? 30? That's a 2-digit number, right? So guess how many digits we need to look at? 2 digits, right? If we just looked at single digits, we would never get past 10. So client 10 through 30 would never get drawn. So if you had a frame, like I have over 100 students, if I have a frame of over 100, how many people am I going to look at? I'm going to look at 3 numbers. So I know that I'll eventually get to the triple digits. All right. So once you know where to start, you just ask yourself, is that starting point a legit person? Like, is their client number 1? Yeah, that was ABC Electric or something like that. They would get the survey. Then you go directly down, 52. Is there a client 52? No. Why? Because how many clients did we have? 30. And then you move down. Is there a client 7? Yes. So you would just keep doing that until you got the correct amount of samples, which would be 5, okay? So sometimes what happens, if you look at this, they would count, so that's 1. They would count, so that's 2. These 3 would not count because they're over 30. So then this would be 3, 4, and I'm at the end of the row. What do? I've been looking at columns 4 and 5, so I have to jump up to columns 6 and 7. And so then 23. So those 5, it's very awkward. It's one of those things where on section 1.3, you only have like 5 problems. I think it's the middle one. come see me in my office. We'll do it together with the thing, okay? I don't want you to not get that and get an 80% on the homework, okay? It's kind of iffy. Some of you get lucky where you never have to bump up to a new row or anything like that. So they'll tell you where to start, okay? And then you look at 2 digits because your sample's 2 digits, and you just go down until you find 5 or however many in your sample you need. All right? Very practical? Not at all. So the next thing, still not the most practical, but at least it's a little bit better, is your graphing calculator. So if you guys could get out your graphing calculator, if you don't have one, hopefully someone next to you has one so you can look. There's also an app you can download a graphing calculator, so if you want one at home, it's called Wabbit, like with a W-E-MU. Wabbit E-MU, and I sound like I'm from Looney Tunes, okay? Anytime you have anything on the graphing calculator, I will have graphing calculator cheat sheets. You are not allowed to use these cheat sheets on the test, but you can use them all the way up until the test, okay? So hopefully by the time the test comes, you'll feel comfortable with it. Make sure I can count appropriately. All right. So, and I always try to give them like clever titles and stuff like that, okay? So it's called That's Random, all right? Using your graphing calculator to generate random numbers. So say we're a company where we have 432 clients, but the first 25 are the workers, they're the employees. So we don't want to survey them. We want to survey everybody else. So we want to generate 5 random integers between 26 and 432. All right. How do we go about doing this? Well, the first thing we have to do is we need to set our seed. And I know that sounds really weird, but setting your seed is like picking your row and your column. So I can grade that everybody started at the right spot. Because if you use these steps and don't start at the right seed, you're all going to get 5 different random numbers, okay? So how do we set our seed? I have the steps here. I have pictures here, okay? The first thing, and I'm just going to do this. Does that look okay? The first thing you have to do is set the seed that you want. So we want 5 to be our seed. So type 5 first, and then you hit the store button that's down here below LN, and a little arrow pops up. And you want to store it as your random integer, and that's this one. Hit math, which is right here. This is going to be like one of your best friends in this class. Hit math. Scroll to PRB, which stands for probability, and choose number 1, rand, so you can hit enter. Hit enter one more time so the word or the number 5 comes up. Do you guys see that? If you don't hit it a second time, then it was never stored. So the second you see the 5 pop up, we've officially stored our seed and we're all starting at the same spot, so I can grade you appropriately, all right? So now what we want to do is we want to start choosing. So we're going to go back to math, and we're going to scroll over to PRB again, but this time we're going to choose number 5. We want to choose a random integer, okay? Notice when I choose it, it has like the start of a parenthesis. This just means the start of who you're choosing from, okay? What numbers did we want to choose from? Anywhere from 26 to what? 432. So what we're going to do is we're going to type 26, comma, 432 like that. Is that okay? So it knows what employees to look at. Now you hit enter as many times as you need to get your random sampling, okay? So you hit enter. Do you guys get 322? So that means customer 322 would get a sample. You hit it again, you get 139. You hit it again, you get 77. You hit it again, you get 166. Hit it again, you get 202. If you're doing this and I say it's without replacement and one of the numbers repeats, hit it a 6th time to get a 5th number that's different, okay? So like say this 202 was a 139, I would hit it again and I'd use 198, not 139 twice, all right? Are you still going to be like, hold on, boss, let me get my random? No, because you can Google it online. I don't know if anyone sees that. Are you guys, you're a lot younger than I am, but all my friends are selling stuff on Facebook. Do your friends sell stuff on Facebook? Like whether it's makeup, workout stuff, eating healthy, and they always have these drawings for prizes, and they have like the random generator on the computer. You can just say 1 through 40, And then each person has a number that goes with it. So I don't think the graphing calculator is as practical as just Googling it, but I think it's a lot better than that number table, okay? And we have to pay good money for these. I'm going to use this thing as much as we can in this class. Are there any questions on section 1.3?
How do you get the comma?
Oh, yes, your comma is right above your 7. Do you see that? And then 432, and you can close off your parenthesis, and your parenthesis right above your 9. And you can just hit it 5 times. All right.